Child abduction or child theft is the unauthorized removal of a minor from the custody of the child's natural parents or legally appointed guardians. The term child abduction includes two legal and social categories which differ by their perpetrating contexts: abduction by members of the child's family or abduction by strangers. By far the most common kind of child abduction is parental child abduction. It often occurs when the parents separate or begin divorce proceedings. A parent may remove or retain the child from the other seeking to gain an advantage in expected or pending child custody proceedings, or because that parent fears losing the child in those expected or pending child custody proceedings. A parent may refuse to return a child at the end of an access visit or may flee with the child to prevent an access visit or fear of domestic violence and abuse. Parental child abductions may result in the child be kept within the same city, within the state or region, within the same country, or sometimes may result in the child being taken to a different country. Most parental abductions are resolved fairly quickly. Studies performed for the U.S. Department of Justice's Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention reported that in 1999, 53% of family abducted children were gone less than 1 week, and 21% were gone 1 month or more. Parental abduction has been characterized as child abuse when seen from the perspective of the kidnapped child. International child abduction occurs when a parent, relative or acquaintance of a child leaves the country with the child or children in violation of a custody decree or visitation order. Another related situation is retention, where children are taken on an alleged vacation to a foreign country and are not returned. While the number of cases, which is over 600,000 a year, consist of international child abduction is small in comparison to domestic cases, they are often the most difficult to resolve due to the involvement of conflicting international jurisdictions. 2/3 of international parental abduction cases involve mothers who often allege domestic violence. Even when there is a treaty agreement for the return of a child, the court may be reluctant to return the child if the return could result in the permanent separation of the child from their primary caregiver. This could occur if the abducting parent faced criminal prosecution or deportation by returning to the child's home country. The Hague Convention on the Civil Aspects of International Child Abduction is an international human rights treaty and legal mechanism to recover children abducted to another country. The Hague Convention does not provide relief in many cases, resulting in some parents hiring private parties to recover their children. Covert recovery was first made public when Don Feeney, a former Delta commando, responded to a desperate mother's plea to locate and recover her daughter from Jordan in the 1980s. Feeney successfully located and returned the child. A movie and book about Feeney's exploits lead to other desperate parents seeking him out for recovery services. By 2007, both the United States, European authorities, and NGOs had begun serious interest in the use of mediation as a means by which some international child abduction cases may be resolved. The primary focus was on Hague cases. Development of mediation in Hague cases, suitable for such an approach, had been tested and reported by Reunite, a London-based NGO which provides support in international child abduction cases, as successful. Their reported success led to the first international training for cross-border mediation in 2008. Sponsored by NCMEC, held at the University of Miami School of Law. Lawyers, judges, and certified mediators interested in international child abduction cases attended. International child abduction is not new. A case of international child abduction has been documented aboard the Titanic. However, the incidence of international child abduction continues to increase due to the ease of international travel, increase in bicultural marriages, and a high divorce rate. The stereotypical version of kidnapping by a stranger is the classic form of kidnapping, exemplified by the Lindbergh kidnapping, in which the child is detained, transported some distance, held for ransom or with intent to keep the child permanently. These instances are rare. The earliest nationally publicized kidnapping of a child by a stranger for the purpose of Extracting a ransom payment from the parents was the Poole case of 1819, which took place in Baltimore, Maryland. Margaret Poole, 20 months old, was kidnapped on May 20 by Nancy Gamble and secreted with the assistance of Mary Thomas. On May 22, the parents, James and Mary Poole, placed an ad in the Baltimore Patriot newspaper offering a $20 reward for Mary's return. When the child was recovered on May 23, through the efforts of members of the community who